Welcome, Rad Dads. Walter here with another microsode. Real briefly, I wanted to let you guys know that we're running a launch contest and I've got free stuff to give away. Do you like rad swag? Do you like gift cards? Because I have them and they've got your name on them. Head on over to www.weraddads.com/contest to enter. This microsode speaks to the power of tribe and I want you to be involved in ours. That's right, ours. Head on over to Facebook and search out the We Rad Dads group. You know, it's funny, the store is pretty much the only place I go, and as sad as that is true, it's actually a lot of fun now. You know, normally I don't mind bringing my son, and we end up having a lot of fun, but if I really want to get something done, I'll have to go alone. Ugh, that was terrible. No more rhyming now, I mean it. Anybody want a peanut? Princess Bride? Anyone? No? Oh well. Yeah, seriously, that was unintentional and terrible, so I apologize for that. Anyway. So, on my days where I don't have him, I try to get to the store and get as much done as possible. I live in a small community, so there's only a few options, but I tend to run into the same people at different stores. One of these people is Haley. Well, we'll call her Haley anyway. I hadn't seen Haley in a long time, and Haley has been divorced twice and has her fair share of struggles. I know Haley through my son's mom. As odd as that sounds, it's always been fairly comfortable running into her. After our lives separated and she went on her own path, I often wonder what her friends think and what her friends know. Now, I'm not going to try and set the record straight because, well, I can't rewrite the story they've been told. You know what they say about first impressions, right? But true to who I am, I wasn't going to turn a blind eye or avert the eye or dart down a side aisle. I saw Haley coming, and I think we both kind of averted our eyes in the fear of the ensuing conversation. Awkward and accusatory, blaming. We met each other with a smile and a greeting. You know, that polite smile that you give people, but inside you're still kind of nervous about how the conversation is going to turn out. We began by making small talk about shopping alone, which, by the way, is very productive, as I had mentioned earlier. We moved on to the second stage of conversation, the obvious part. So, how's it going? She asked. Now, I gotta say, I'm not sure what prompted this. I assume general curiosity, and I feel like people ask me this because they want some juicy details or want to see me fume, but I just don't anymore. I actually did consider that, though. For a fleeting moment, I actually thought about venting a couple of frustrations in somewhat sarcastic tone. After that flashed through my mind, I just told her exactly what I thought was doing really, really well. I went on to explain that I'm doing better than I have in a very long time. And for whatever reason, that opened up a conversation that I just never saw coming. I don't think she did either. What followed, I think, astonished us both. It was a real, genuine interaction of two people who had gone through similar circumstances of change and hardship. People who've really been through the ringer and been, well, spit out by life, or so it felt. But on the other side of that, the two of us got together and recognized that we had the same resolution. We've come upon the same epiphanies. And after all is said and done, we found much more meaning and commonality in it. One of the biggest things that we both agreed on is that we were much happier and peaceful for having gone through that. You know, if you can survive that and maintain your composure, you're a god amongst men. You may not feel like you have the strength of Zeus, but I guarantee you, you're way stronger than most people. You know, I heard a correlation recently about an egg and how it appears hard on the outside and would normally spill out all over the place if ruptured, but under intense pressure and heat becomes solid and stable, and when cracked, doesn't spill out all over the place. I think this embodies single parents in general and people who've been through trying circumstances. Don't worry if your shell cracks. You'll hold it together. Not only because you have to, but because you now possess the attributes to be able to. As our conversation moved forward, we discussed some revelations and reflections and resonated with those lessons learned, like not really needing anyone with respect to romantic relationships. You know, we both got a chuckle about a lot of people who end up trying to, well, replace somebody they had just lost in a bad relationship, a divorce or separation or what have you, and how that's just a terrible path, and it almost always ends in further destruction. We were both glad that we didn't take that path, although admittedly I was tempted, and I'm pretty sure she was too. I guess that's the normal reaction when you have had somebody in your life, is to go out and get another one in our consumer society. Well, I'll leave that diatribe alone for now. Another thing we both agreed on was our life cleanse. You know, the people and the things that went by the wayside in the process. Of course, in hindsight, where I'm at right now, I had to get rid of basically everything in my life and start over from, well, moving boxes. But having done that has allowed me to really focus on what's important in my life and what I need, as opposed to what I was holding on to and wanted. Along with that were the relationships, the friendships, the acquaintances. Some of them have gone by the wayside. But as I reflect on that, only the important ones have remained. I can't stress this enough. You know, you keep hearing me talk about this Jim Rohn quote, that you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I can't stress that enough. We then talked about dating and other options and how she would go on dates, but really wasn't interested in a lot of people because, well, they just weren't perfect. Now, nobody's perfect, but what I mean to say is, and what she went on to tell me, is that there's no use wasting time with somebody who you are on the fence about. Sure, they're a great person, and maybe you can make this project into whatever you'd like, but I would hope we've all learned the lesson that you can't really change people. Either you're 2 peas in a pod, or you're not. And generally speaking, you know that right away. You know, back to important people in your life, the people that stuck around, it's only with those folks, well, Haley, for example, that I'm going to end up moving forward. People who understand, people who resonate. And there's no romance involved here. I actually respect her as a friend more now than ever, after that short 20-minute conversation. We were both very thankful to have arrived to our place. I'm making the air quotation marks right now. I'm very happy to be on to the next stage of my life. And that's what I want for everyone here listening. You deserve that. You've been through a hard time, and you've done it on your own for the most part. First, I'll hit you with the bad news, and then I'll hit you with the good news. The bad news is, it's going to continue by yourself for a little while. But this, as a lot of things, is yet another opportunity. This is the opportunity to find yourself. Search within, figure out who you are and what you want, and then go after it. It's really that simple. Stop chasing things for money or for recognition from other people. Start being, as they say, the person your dog thinks you are. Start being the dad, the parent, the friend, the son. Start being the person that matters most. That person that you've locked away inside. Only when you embrace your true authentic self will you find the life you're looking for. And that's my best words of wisdom at the moment. We chatted for a bit longer and soon parted ways. And in the course of our conversation, the polite smile turned into a really warm, in-depth conversation. And I'm not sure who initiated it, but as we parted ways, we shared a hug. It was something that I hadn't expected, but immediately as it happened, I recognized it was a, I'm glad you made it hug. I'm glad you understand. I'm glad you're here on the other side, and you get it. You know, that's exactly what I'm trying to bring to everyone who's listening. I'm trying to bring you that embrace. I'm trying to bring you into a group of people who completely understand what you've been going through and want to help you find your true place. We parted ways and moved on in opposite directions. Maybe she doesn't think of it, but I'll tell you, it made a pretty big impact on me. Obviously. You know, I hope this story speaks to the power of tribe and to those people who just get you. Thank you, Haley. Well, that's it for this episode of We Rad Dads, and I'm glad you joined us. Thanks for stopping by. Join us for more conversation and community on our Facebook group, or reach out to me personally. Let me know if what I'm saying resonates with you. You know, eventually I'd like to feature your mail and questions. Email me, Walter@weraddads.com. And as always, stay up, stay connected, and stay rad, dads.